Do not get any part of what I'm about to discuss twisted. This is not an endorsement of Nikki Haley for president of the United States. I'm not angry with her. Like I know a lot of other people, I know way too many conservatives angry with Nikki Haley. I don't quite get it myself, but you're entitled to your opinion, and an opinion different than mine. But still, this is not an endorsement. Allow me to say it clearly. Nikki Haley is not going to get the nomination, certainly as the field we believe will lay itself out. I don't see where her major constituency is. Of course, she's trying to grab suburban women as that major constituency and utilizing the words of Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders of Arkansas to put herself as somebody who is in the position, the camp of normal and not crazy, if we're going to view everything as normal or crazy, which I thought from Governor Huckabee Sanders was very, very, very smart indeed. But that alone is not going to get her a nomination. Is she running to be vice president? Maybe. Another cabinet position? Possibly. Is it smart? Yeah. It doesn't do her any good to sit on the sideline. You might as well get in the race, build some name ID. She's 51. She's a long road ahead of her in politics. But this isn't about her. This is about how people are coming out against her, and not from the right, from the left. Holy crap. The bigotry, the racism, the hate. It is unbelievable. The days of women standing up for other women, that stuff is over. Guys, welcome to the show, presented by Americans for Prosperity, AmericansForProsperity.org, economic liberty, free speech. This is what the good people do right over there. Now, I am telling you that we have seen it all when it comes to Nikki Haley. And so there's a really important story within. And the first one is the one that we already knew. It's an obvious one. Anybody who runs for president on the Republican side is, and I believe their quote is, worse than Hitler. I believe at this stage of the game, that's all they've got. Trump is Hitler, and then everybody else is worse than Hitler. Now, you know, if you listen to my radio shows or listen to me anywhere, man, I despise that kind of stuff. I despise every time someone brings up Nazis, someone brings up Hitler. The Holocaust is not your political crutch, you coward, you insignificant, incapable, pseudo-intellectual who has no capacity to have a conversation outside of talking points and sound bites. If you're bringing up Hitler, if you're bringing up the Holocaust for a conversation about today's politics, you are weak, you are small-minded, you're a little person. That's what you are. And you're totally cool with diminishing and denigrating the Holocaust. You're down with it. You think that's acceptable. I personally don't think that's acceptable. And so I have very, very specific words for you, you low-life bastard. Now, that's considered rough, but that's exactly what these people deserve when they're willing to take the Holocaust and use it as a political crutch. The conversation, though, remains. Anybody who runs is worse than Hitler. That's their positioning. With Nikki Haley, the positioning has gotten crazier because the positioning has gotten so incredibly, outrageously racist and race-based that it's hard to fathom it happening. Meaning, I knew they were going to come after her. Like, for example, a lot of people said, oh, look what Trump said about her. What I saw, now maybe I missed something that the former president said. What I saw was like a fact sheet. Here's what Nikki Haley said. Here's what she's doing. Here's what she said about me. Here's how much she loves me. Here's how she said this about me. Here's where she flip-flopped here. Here's where she said something nice about Hillary Clinton. That's standard operating procedure in politics. Oh, you're running? Well, let's now give out the greatest hits of the things that you've done. I don't think there's anybody who sees that as irrational. Standard political fare, right? Absolutely. The left came out with, really, we're going to vote for Nimrata, a woman afraid of using her own name. That's her given name. Her middle name, and now that's as I know it, her middle name is Nikki, which I believe it translates to little one. And it's the name that her family has used for her whole life. It's the name that she used as a child and she uses now. And so she calls herself Nikki. There's nothing wrong with that. That is not abandoning your Indian roots, right? She's Indian. It's not abandoning your heritage. It's not. No part of it is doing that. It's a name that she grew up with. It's a name that's actually hers. There's nothing wrong with utilizing Nikki. She has never once shied away in her public life from noting that she has an Indian heritage. No one cares. We care about what she's going to do. But the left attacked her for that heritage immediately. She isn't being Indian enough. Or, as they often say it, she isn't being the right kind of Indian. Remember, they say this about people who are black all the time. If you listen to me long enough, you will note that I have stated for years that for the left, if you're black and conservative, you're not really black. And if you're Jewish and conservative, you're not really Jewish. And if you're gay and conservative, you're not really gay. And if you're a woman and conservative, you're not really a woman. This is how they go about it. The bigotry is as clear as day. They don't determine you being black and having the experiences of growing up black or living your life black. It all of a sudden goes away. It doesn't matter if you're not also a liberal. Somehow, if you're a conservative, well, you say you're black. They all of a sudden decide whether or not you're black enough. That's pretty ugly stuff. You know, I once said on Fox News, oh God, could have been a year ago now, maybe more. I once said something about how Jews view something. I said, you know, I speak for all the Jews, and speaking for all the Jews, and I did this joke. It fell very flat. And people, you don't speak for me. You don't speak. I'm like, yeah, I know I don't speak for you. That's part of the problem. I should. You'd be better off if I did. No one speaks for everyone. That's insane stuff. No one speaks for everyone. But the left has it in their head that they know what really makes somebody black, or really makes somebody gay, or really makes somebody Jewish, or in this case, really makes somebody Indian. And Nikki Haley doesn't fit the bill. And then there were these other stories and attacks on her for, well, you know, she didn't take down the Confederate flag until the shooting at the church there. I don't know why she didn't act first. I don't think we should treat her as a hero for doing it. I always made the assumption that, you know, you don't get angry with somebody for being late to the party. You're just glad they're there. And so if they remove the Confederate flag from the Capitol and you think that's a good move, all right, you think that's a good move. Now it's an attack point for why she didn't do it sooner. I wonder how many places we can go to throughout South Carolina's history about why they didn't do it sooner. But what an interesting thing to, only happened after this. You mean something happened and she said, wait a second, now I see this connection. There you go. Or now I see this moment, or maybe you disagree with her for taking it down. I don't know how everybody sees it. I think that clearly people in South Carolina are like, yeah, that's got to go. But that's now their talking point. So you see, not only is Nikki Haley not a true enough Indian, she's also a bigot for not acting as they saw it as sooner. But they have no definition of when sooner is. They have no appreciation of good. Glad that this is gone. It's all, you didn't do this fast enough. You didn't do this quick enough. You didn't see, that proves you're not really. And then they go on from there. The race, in this race for president, I didn't realize exactly how deep it was going to go, how absolutely nutty it was all going to be. And then I caught this. This was over at MSN.
Well, I mean,
sorry, didn't mean to click on that right away. That's Tara Setmeyer being asked a question about Nikki Haley and being Indian enough, and it takes her just seconds to get into the idea of tokenism. And then, of course, the problem is white people.
Well, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of the Indian American community because I'm not part of that, but I can see where the comparisons would be to where oftentimes Republicans will try to use immigrants or minorities as tokens to try to deflect away from policies and positions that are actually exclusive of those communities. And Nikki Haley is no different than a lot of the rest of them. I mean, it's the same thing with the Ben Carsons of the world or the Herschel Walkers, where they think, oh, if they just put a black candidate candidate up there to say, oh, there's no more racism, that white people go, yeah, see, that's okay. We're not racist anymore because the black guy said there's no more racism. It's really incredulous and quite transparent. And when Nikki Haley says that, she grew up on the other side of the tracks and how the tracks divided the community, well, who the hell does she think put the tracks there? There's no racism in America. I guess the track just showed up through immaculate construction. I mean, it's an asinine position and very transparent. So I think people will see right through it because she's actually not very good at this.
How quickly did token come up in her conversation? Now, I'll save that for last when we get to the idea of who built the tracks. It's a great question. Who built the tracks? I didn't. I didn't build any tracks. In the Carolinas. I've actually not built tracks anywhere. But yet, Tara Setmeyer, thinking the way a racist does, decides that I'm guilty. And you're guilty. And millions of other people are guilty who may actually agree with her. What a thing to say, because of a color of skin, you now are guilty of X. Man, that is the weirdest KKK talk I have ever seen. And yet it happens on the left continually. Isn't the conversation not the color of the skin of the people who put down the tracks, but rather the motivation of those people, the ideology of those people? Should we go about finding the political party of those people? Wouldn't that be more to an apt and valuable conversation? But not for Tara Setmeyer, not for MSNBC. Let's just claim that this group of people that look like this, or like this, or like that, or name the group that they decide to go after, are guilty. Everything is race-based, race-connected. That's their whole point, by the way. But as rational people see it, of all sorts of races, this is about trying to attack people, hate people, divide people, as opposed to look at people. Isn't the argument against Nikki Haley a policy conversation? Isn't the argument against Nikki Haley things she said, like, for example, I'm not going to run for president if Donald Trump runs for president, then Donald Trump runs for president, she's like, I'm still running for president. Like, isn't that where the argument should be? Rational people say yes. Shouldn't the argument be about policy? Yes. Not the people at MSNBC. Not the political left that has come after her, calling her a token, whether it's her or whether that's that kind of conversation from Sunny Hostin and Joy Behar on The View, or a host of other people. Man, I was expecting a lot. I was ready for a lot. The racial hate towards Nikki Haley is something to behold. I have never seen this many people talk about her being Indian. You know how many times it's come up for me? Zero. Until Nikki Haley brought it up years ago, I didn't know. I didn't ask. It didn't matter. What mattered is, what was she going to do? And as an ambassador, especially in the conversation, for example, about Israel, I was cool with her. I didn't have issues. I was like, I think she's fighting well here, and I appreciate it. It doesn't mean I can't go through her entire political history and be like, I don't like this vote and I don't like this position. That's what you're supposed to discuss. Not the left, man. Not these people. Every single thing is about race. They don't mind going after a woman about race. They don't mind calling her a token. It's all good. Man, I don't know if this helps Nikki Haley or not. I don't know if this gets her a fan base or not. But certainly, when you take a look at this, you must look at the left and be like, this is just ugly. And now we do that because we may ideologically agree, or we may do that because we're thinking people who take a look at these things logically and rationally and be like, yes, that is what they are doing. But does it affect that suburban soccer mom? Does the suburban soccer mom say, you know what, Nikki Haley isn't being true to herself, I can't vote for her? Or do they say, holy crap, Nikki Haley is being attacked because she's a woman, because she's Indian, because she has a position that the left, who determines that women and people who are Indian or are brown have to think a certain way, she doesn't think that way and she's being attacked for it. You know what? I'm going to go support her. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that's going to play out. Oh, right there. I assume that no matter what, she's still not going to win a primary. She's not. But the left has shown you what this election's all about. Everybody who runs is worse than Hitler, and everybody who runs is guilty of some racial crime. Either something that comes with having a certain skin pigmentation, or you didn't do enough to represent your skin pigmentation. That's it. That's the whole election, folks. There you go. It's crazy to witness. Crazy to witness. Let me go to yes, Jason. Nikki Haley isn't Indian enough yet. Elizabeth Warren is. We all saw that one coming. Thank you for spelling it out, man. I appreciate it. We all absolutely saw that one coming. Susan, some people thrive on anger. Man, oh man. Ain't that the truth? They thrive on creating the division. They thrive on creating the hate. The argument should be about policy. I don't give a damn that she's Indian. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. Do I see her? Yes. I actually didn't know that she was Indian until she said it. I didn't know. It didn't dawn on me to even ask the question. Maybe that means I'm not observant, but I think I'm a pretty observant guy. Just wasn't the thing I observed. Now, that's a very different conversation than when people say, I don't see race. Of course I do. Now, some people I'm not aware until I'm told. Of course I do. I see people. Race. I see whether they're tall or short or thin or fat or all slew of things. I see people for what they are. Now, it could be things I miss, but I see people for what they are. And I think that you shouldn't be like, oh, I don't see those things. Of course I see those things. The question is, do you let those things govern you and your positions and your opinions and everything else? And the answer is no. I want to hear what somebody has to say. I want to hear what they're thinking about. I want to hear their policies. I want to see them in action. I want to then make a decision from there. That's how rational people go about things and should. The left is not rational in this case, and they're showing you this. They don't even want to get to policy where they'd actually have an argument. They want to get to, this is enough. This is the reason to hate. This is the reason to object. Oh, she's just a token for the Republicans. Every black person, every gay person, every woman, every Indian person, just a token, not people who have come to their own decisions, utilizing their own minds and their own experiences to come to a place. Nope, just tokens, or they're just in it for the money. It's an ugly thing to watch and see. For sure. Guys, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being part of the show. And my thanks to the good people at Americans for Prosperity, AmericansForProsperity.org, economic liberty and free speech. Good things, people. I'm a fan, AmericansForProsperity.org. And I will catch you. Yeah, I'm working President's Day, which is the crappiest named holiday in the world. Washington's birthday, I'll celebrate. Lincoln's birthday, I'll celebrate. The birthdays of Woodrow Wilson and Barack Obama, I don't celebrate those birthdays. I don't do it. I also don't celebrate the birthday of Andrew Jackson. There, just throwing people out there. These are not the birthdays that I celebrate. Washington and Lincoln, that'll do. This President's Day nonsense is nonsense. Total and utter and complete trash. Zach, thank you, man. I appreciate you being here, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.